Hello. Hey, Kath. How is everyone doing? Hopefully really well. I'm just gonna go ahead and light my incense here as I wait to see if anyone pops on. And then we're gonna go ahead and get started with Witch's Runes. So I hope you're ready. Don't know why I just inhaled a lot of that smoke. It was pretty intense for 30 seconds. Hey, Ronnie. I have to relight that. Like it lied to me. There we go. Much better. So as those is going, hey, Monica. I'm just gonna give it a few more, like 30 more seconds, and I promise we're gonna get started. I'm really excited, I'm not gonna lie, to talk about Witch's Runes, because you really don't hear too much about it. You mostly hear a lot about Norse runes, the Elder Futhark, but to actually hear about the Witch's Runes, it's a little bit more modern, but it's not like, you know, the 1900s, you know, you're looking at more like back in the days. More like, I don't want to say like, okay, you might as well just say like, technically even Elder Futhark is technically not the oldest, it's the actual Egyptians, that their runes and hieroglyphics are technically the oldest, which is really, really cool. I don't know, I'd say like, maybe like 100 AD, maybe, I'd say, yeah. But they're not like, they're the newest. They're like the babies of the different types of runes. Toraga, please leave Lilith alone. Come, leave her alone. No, you're fine, you're fine. Kathy says, when I have time to actually sit and practice and take notes, I have to rewatch runes and Witch's Runes so I can learn them. I want to learn something fierce, just prioritizing school. And that's completely understandable. That's why, I mean, what you know, that's why we do these, and you can always go back and rewatch everything, which, you know, I can't sit there and say I haven't done it, because I go back and rewatch so many things. Hey, Ellen. Hey, Jody. All right, so you're not going to see my face tonight, and that's because you see this beautiful display in front of you. I do have a book that is so useful, and I was so blessed to be gifted it by Heather, one of our members. I was gifted this book, and it's probably the best book ever, so I'm going to show you that real quick. This is the book, Witch's Runes, How to Make and Use Your Own Magic Stones, okay? It's amazing. It's probably the best Witch's Runes book I've ever gotten my hands on. It's great. So I will tell you this right now. It has everything you ever want to know about them. Breaks it down, breaks how to make them, even how to make the bag for them. Gives the breakdowns of what the meanings are, all that fun stuff. So definitely something you really, really need, okay? I do have 2 sets of runes here. I have, and these are both made and then gifted to me. These ones are resin. These are from Heather, okay? And then these are wood, and they are carved, okay? These were also gifted. They're amazing. Now, there are some people that they actually prefer to use actual stones. So this would be a good example and a great stone to use. And you would paint the rune, the Witch's Rune, on this instead, okay? So keep that in mind. Stones like these, even if you want to use bigger pebble stones, that's totally fine. You can use seashells, wood, you could just use crystals. Pretty much it's just like runes. It's whatever you want it to be, okay? But I wanted to have that as an example. These stones I actually found here at one of my favorite sacred places, Geneva on the Lake. And these are the stones that I have to give a stone to take a stone. So that's the only way you're actually able to get them and be able to use them in your magic, is you have to give to take. All right. So, okay. let's get started, even though I kind of started. One of the basic things with runes is I like to have its own box. So I'm just going to move the camera here so you can see the box. This box was made for me. I do keep pendulums in here also, so that's why you see a few extra things. And I do keep my elemental crystal stones in here as well. But yes, this is an amazing box. I always feel that every type of rune should have its own box. I will group a few things, but like my Norse runes, because I have 3 sets of them, they all stay in their own box. This one I use for witches runes and for my elemental runes, okay? So it's always nice to have its own sacred space, just like we kind of need our own sacred space. So definitely keep that in mind as well. All right, so a little bit about witches runes, guys. So it, honestly, aside from Norse runes, it's one of my favorite divination styles when it comes to runes. So I guess you say it's my second favorite, aside from Norse. I really highly recommend witches runes and learning them before Norse runes. It is a lot easier to understand. I'm just going to open a window real quick because it's actually hot in my house for once, which is rare. Okay, so as I was saying, they're easier to understand because the symbols are very similar to what we already use as witches. So that's always really nice. So if you haven't like learned Norse runes, that's okay. Start with these. Witches runes are easier. They're more for beginners anyways. One big thing with these two is that sometimes you'll see witches runes as a set of 10, which if you try and purchase them, please make sure you pay attention to see how many runes, stones that they actually give you. 13 is the witch's number, 13 for coven, right? So 13 is our lucky number when it comes to witches runes. So I recommend getting 13 runes. If you want 10, that's completely up to you. I just prefer 13. And that's mostly because, well, coven's 13, which is 13 lucky number. It has symbolization for us alone. Oh, thanks. Yeah, they're absolutely beautiful. They're both really beautiful. Let's see, what else? Okay, so you know when it comes to Elder Futhark, which the Norse runes they have a lot more set meanings, even though you pick and choose what you want them to represent, but you still keep the same kind of, symbolism. With witches runes, you can honestly do whatever you want. And I'm gonna give you an example. So this one right here, okay? This is also known as, okay, you see this? Most people are gonna be like, oh, that's Trinity, right? In witches runes, it actually symbolizes romance, okay? I don't like it. So I don't utilize it as romance. I utilize it as the Trinity, okay? Fate. So past, present, future, or one of the 3 fates. So I use this as a wisdom, not a romance, okay? So that's my, understanding and interpretation of how I want you guys to see what I mean. This has a symbolization of romance, that is what I'll teach you tonight. But me personally, when I pull this, I don't pull it as a romance. I pull it as a Trinity, okay? A fate card, or rune in this case, okay? But it's technically romance, which is really cool. Or, okay, let's see. Kathy says, looks like the center of an apple. And maybe you want to use it as that. Maybe you want to symbolize as an apple. So what does apple represent to you? There you go. Perfect example, Kathy, okay? It's what you see on the rune and what you want it to represent. So definitely keep that in mind when we go through any runes. You make your interpretation. Write it down. Get a notebook. Draw the symbol. Write your interpretation of it. No one can ever tell you you're wrong, right? Because this is us. This is what we want. This is, this is something that witches do. We don't use someone else's meanings. We make it our own. So keep that in mind too. Okay, let's see, what else? See if I'm missing any of the small little things before I get into something. Okay, so like I said, it is a modern type of version of a magical alphabet invented basically from witches as a form of divination. They say, did we say this already? Like maybe like 19th century or early 20th centuries. That's where these kind of came into play. So we already kind of give examples of how to make them. Sorry, I'm just following my guideline, make sure I didn't go out of whack with you guys. You can use seashells, you can use stones, you can use resin, you can use wood. There's really nothing you can't use. It's just, maybe I want to use wood from a birch tree. Maybe I want to use wood from a cherry tree. And then think about why. Why do you choose that very specific material that you want these? No, you're good, you're good. Another thing is if you use seashells, maybe paint the symbols with like a blue color and help it represent water. Maybe stick to it. So if you're using wood, obviously you want to burn into it. That can have a fire representation. If you want to use something as a paint, maybe use the paint as a water representation, and then maybe you can base it off with the color. Sometimes if you want to carve them, but you don't, carve them with like a knife and then anoint them with your own blood. Hey, it's just like Norse runes. You can do that, okay? The sky's the limit. You can also do a few things. Get a special bag, have a special bag made. I like to put them in these, but I do have them when I put them in my boxes. Oops. I do have them in their own bags. Now, both those bags were gifted to me. Now, where did that blank one go? Ooh, don't want the dog to get that one. So put them in a special bag. Sleep with them underneath your pillow. Put them in your purse. Carry them around for you just like we do for Norse runes, guys. Put them anywhere and everywhere, okay? You want them to be energized by your magical energy. Not just your energy, but we are witches. We use magic, okay? We don't just use basic energy. We are the magic. So you're going to anoint them with your magical energy, not just your basic energy. And yes, there is a difference. Okay. I suggest maybe pulling a rune a day to practice, seeing how it represents you, and if it actually, if you can connect with it to, so again, say I pull the Trinity in my case, but romance, okay? I'm fated for something. Something is coming my way that's going to change my destiny, okay? Voila, I go to work, next thing you know, I get a promotion. Something like that. Or when I come home, all of a sudden, I don't know, my tax return came in my account, and then bam, I get to pay off a couple extra bills. Something as basic as simple as that can really change someone's world. Even being able to pay off one bill that they normally, would have to wait for a next paycheck, now it's paid off. Or maybe, some extra money comes in and I can pay for the Sleepy Hollow trip, right? Something like that. So think of that. Tell them I'm not no dang infomercial. I'm trying to stay professional, dang it. All right, so, shall we get into the meanings? Shall we? And when we actually cast these, we can actually do it as a past, present, or future, or you can throw them all down and read which ones are facing up. What else can we do? Pull it from a bag. Sky's the limit, but we're going to practice. We're going to try some, okay, after we learn the meanings of them. All right, so I'm going to put these ones to the side. I'm going to lay these out for a minute. I'm going to flip them all up because we're going to go through them and I want you to see all of them. Okay, see how pretty they are? They're so pretty. All right, so the first one we're going to look at is the sun, all right? It looks like a sun. Bam, we got the sun. So the sun, we already know that sun represents, to most witches anyways, new beginnings or maybe solar magic, okay? Fertility, growth. Growth is a big one because if you think about it, we need the sun to grow things, right? So bam, you got your growth. So when the witch's rune pops up in a reading, it's a good thing and you can smile. So the sun means different things to different people. However, the fact that it sustains the planet also means it sustains our lives and beings and abundance. Okay? So all good things. So if you get this pulled out, it's amazing. Okay? So sun. The next one, where are we? My moon. You're either, listen, as witches, you're either sun child or moon child. Tell me I'm wrong, right? So, put this so you can see it. So the moon, you got your intuition. You can represent your goddess. You know, you have a lot of moon goddesses, darker goddesses that live in the dark. Represents dreams because at night you sleep, right? Psychic abilities, emotions, love, healing, even shadow work if you really want it. Draga? Sorry guys, my dog decided she's gonna take over everything. The moon, when this moon rune really pops up in a reading, you want to look deeper into your surface. It asks us to use our intuition, it asks us to look into our dreams, and it also asks us to connect to our emotional side. So keep that in mind if you get the moon. All right, the next one is flight. Where do we go? Flight. Okay, so this one's always really cool. So it looks like birds, and that's how it's supposed to represent. It doesn't matter which way you turn it, but yes, birds. Traveling, birds, of course, because if you want to look at flight, you look at just birds itself. So communication, you got messages coming from the other side. Maybe, you know, you're trying to soar to greater heights. Maybe some news is coming your way. Or maybe you're even moving too fast. That is another thing a lot of people don't realize when it comes to flight. You could be moving way too fast. You could also look at it as otherworldly news, or it could remind us of some form of communication that we're missing or that is coming. It could be spoken, it could be written, or you could look at it as birds are a sacred animal and they're messengers from the gods or heaven if you follow the Christian witch side. So look at it that way as well. So that is called flight. So sun, moon, flight. The next one, we are rings. So here we go. So you're looking at a bonding. You could look at as a marriage, a team, a family, an alliance. Now, one big thing with this one is when this one comes up, I always kind of go, ooh, crap, we have an issue. It could be a good issue, it could be a bad issue. And yes, I know, how do you have a good issue? But you really, really can. You could have it with family, an issue, a coworker or friend. Bonding on different levels is also a message, okay? But something's going on, all right? And it could be a bad thing or a good big thing, but it's rings. It's a lot of family and friends and marriage type of bonding. So when you get this, those are what those are relating to. Then sometimes you need this one and you need another rune to come after that to really understand that connection. All right, so what's the next one we're gonna go with? Okay, so here we go. Oh my gosh. So here we go. Here's our romance or our Trinity. I'm gonna tell you the Trinity first, okay? So the Trinity, triple goddess, like I said, the fates, the three fates, the life, death, rebirth, but again, love and romance. So some people can read this maybe as a flower, new life. Think of it as like maybe like a dandelion. You know how they look one way, but when they die, they become a different way. You know, the ones that like to go, the white flowers that you go, and they go all over the place. I tend to read it like the life, death, and rebirth. It's completely up to you. Yes, Austin. Oh, hi. Okay. So again, your interpretation of it. But if you look at it as a love and a romance thing, you can look at it as a positive in this case. But at the same time, you can look at it as you have trials from different angles that you need to solve before you actually get to the center. So that's where my Trinity comes from. I do like trials. I'm always about the trials. Oh, no, where we go? Okay, so this is the woman rune. The womb, the vagina, yes, I did say that. Creative, birthing, motherhood, feminine. All right, that's what this one is. If you read this, think of it more of like a divine feminine, maybe. That's all around us. What was I going with this one? Oh, a creative idea. Ooh, I knew I was missing something. A creative idea you can use too. Creativity, maybe an idea for a project. But if you look at it as the divine feminine, you can then definitely look at it as, you know, you have comfort from the Divine Mother. She's sending you a message that you need to look into. Maybe she is, I don't know, maybe, you know, she's telling you about a pregnancy, or maybe she's telling you about you coming into your mother phase of the Trinity, you know, maiden, mother, crone. Again, it's how you interpret it, guys. But this is the woman. And then, of course, if you can't have, you know, a woman without the man. So this one represents the male. This also represents the arrow, action, strength, aggression, justice, and goals. So, yin and yang, right? If you have those two both in a reading, then you know you need balance in your life. You're missing it, like, hardcore. You need duality on every level. So the man's rune is the arrow, but it also represents everything that is masculine related, okay? So, here's your man. And actually, let me give you a little bit more detail on that one too, because there's something really cool about that one I wanted to bring to your attention that the book says versus what I say. Okay, so in a reading, if you choose it, this rune rarely suggests violence or fighting, but it also can mean that you need to defend your own interests. You have to stand strong. It is not a good time to move slowly, going inward or reflecting. You need to go head on and quickly without question. It is hardcore when it comes to willpower or driving necessary energy to get things done. So focus a lot on things being disruptive or unexpected, representing like drastic change. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you know, in daily living, there should always be balance. So life without change or action could be intolerable, even to the greatest of souls. Action is energy, and energy is life. So there's a little bit more detail when it comes to the man, if that helps a little bit. And if anyone wants more detailed on the ones we've already gone through, let me know, and I will detail it out a little bit more. Just giving you a little more of a general thing, but I have no problem detailing these for you. So I did detail the man, so let me know if you like that. The next one is harvest. So here is your harvest. I know, isn't it silly looking? I don't really know which way. Every way it shows me. This one looks like a face, so we're going to turn it upside down just because it throws me off every time I see a face in it. All right, so this means harvest. Abundance and reaping and manifesting and wealth, family security, and finances. So this is your money. This is your success card or rune. I keep saying card. You can tell I use cards a lot. So what happens during harvest, right? We all collect things that we've been growing over time. So it's a good manifestation and reaping the rewards, finances, and security. Does anyone need anything detailed out? Please let me know, because I will give you the brief details if not. So the next one we're going to look at the crossroads, Kathy and I's favorite. So just like any type of crossroads, it's a decision, it's a blocking, perhaps opportunities, spirits, if you want to pull it more of a metaphysical way, a space between. So a crossroads, it's a symbol, an actual place of power. When we reach a crossroads in our lives, we have to make that decision, right? There may be a new path presented to us, or our paths might be blocked and we need to uncross them. If you're looking at a spiritual side, maybe you want to use this rune when you're trying to access the spiritual realm. at a crossroads. So Hecate or any type of demon, a reaper, anything that's more like that, having this symbol there definitely helps. Excuse me. All right, the next one is waves. So here are your waves. Bring it a little closer so you can see it. So when it comes to the waves, you're looking more like, obviously, as it seems, ocean, sea, purification, water, healing. But here's a big thing a lot of people don't know. It also represents the land of the dead. Okay? Heard of the Lady of the Lake? You ever heard of how to access Tartarus, you have to actually jump into this very specific lake to get there? That's where this one comes in. So water is one of those elements that either draw people or it scares them, or even both. It's an element of change, it's destruction, it's creation, it's nourishment, and it represents so much in reading that purification is also a big indication. Hey, Carrie. Did you make these or purchase these? These were actually made by some of our members and they were gifted to me. I have 2 sets. I have these ones and then I have these ones, which I'll show you these ones too in here in a little bit so you can see both of them. But these ones were handmade by one of our members. I don't want to throw her name out there unless she wants me to, so I'll just hold off on that. So yeah, so this is waves. This is a really neat one. And like I said, if you're dealing with the land of the dead, having these 2 at your beck and call when they come up is a great thing if you're dealing with spirits and trying to communicate. All right. The next one we're going to look at is going to be the star. So very simple, basic, and making this one, it's just a star. So you're looking at guidance, maybe like a light in the dark, wishes and gifts, because do we not wish upon a star, right? So anything that's astrology related and anything that's otherworldly creations, because, ooh, that wind is so amazing. Sorry. When it comes to astrology and being in the, outer space, and I say outer space, is because even the dragon realm means you have to go through the cosmos to get to the realm itself. So, if you're doing anything with dragons, pulling this, try and get their attention is a great thing too. But when you look up the stars, how do you really feel? Incorporate that into your reading. The star is going to indicate anything that deals with gifts and granting wishes to some. It may be a guiding light to others that are lost in the darkness. Okay? The next one is the Sith. I like showing this one upside down. Okay, sorry. So the Sith. So it's a reaping, it's a death, it's a warning, it's an end of an era. It's also a releasing and a clearing. So it's not always a bad thing. It just kind of depends. It's like the death card in tarot. Okay, if you know what the death card represents, it's not a bad thing. It's really not. People misinterpret that so much. Just like the devil card, they misinterpret it. So to some, it's scary. But the Sith also means an end to something that needs to be released. It can mean a clearing and a letting go. So I'm going to set this aside just for a second because I want to read the book because it gives a really good breakdown of this one and I think you need to hear it. Just gotta get to it. Man, woman, romance, rings. Oh, too far. Too far. Watch it be like the last one. Get down, Draga! Get down, little girl. Alright. So whenever it comes up in a reading, it suggests that it is time for change, like we already said. Perhaps you've been putting off bringing an end to difficult situations because you are really fearful that it is unknown. This can be an expression of varieties of ways, but most obviously it can be a relationship issue. Moving on from that. It is likely one key relationship needs to be phased out of your life or else it's dysfunctional and will cut deeply if you do not let it go and escape the negative ramifications. Maybe on a mundane level, though, this rune can indicate a divorce or a separation. Now, it can suggest, when it comes to spiritual side, shift in events. You're focusing dramatically and drastically, forcing you to change and transform yourself or your strategy or plan. let's see. Perhaps the question you have inside you and in your head is now posing or no longer appropriate, and that things have to change too much to get that answer, so you need to release it, thus rearranging your way of thinking and doing things. All matters pertaining to the paranormal, especially ghosts and apparitions, the afterlife and reincarnation, have a special significance. Therefore, you will be more keenly aware of the process of both life and death, the concept of the other realms and other existence outside of what is usually sensed. So yeah, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. Like I said, it's very detailed, so this book, absolutely amazing. All right, so that was the Sith. So I'm gonna put that one back. And then our last rune is the Eye. It's so pretty. Look at that, it's so pretty. Okay, so you have the Eye. Spiritually, you got your third eye right here. You're seeking the truth. It's a very clairvoyance type of rune, or someone maybe even watching. The evil eye, or it could be a protection of eye. It's the all-seeing. It represents things that are unseen, but also seeing the beauty of other things that some people don't see. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense in my head. It can also be a warning of an evil eye, or someone is watching you, good or bad. So definitely this is a good one for that. I'm gonna see what the book says on the eye, if you guys don't mind. Please stop me, ask questions. I don't mind. Please do. I like questions, guys. All right, come on, Eye. Where are you at? Oh, of course, it's the last one. So it does represent perspective, to have something brought to focus in such a way that you will never view things quite the same way. You can expect to get a sudden realization directed through the viscera or the core of emotions, rather than the gray matter of the brain. Such information may come to you as a shock. It also is an awakening. If not present, this realization will certainly be life-altering. The Eye rune does imply strong magic, incredible psychic powers, and ability to summon up what is yours, and the ability to change things by way of your own connections with the same or some source of divine. But perhaps magic is the wrong word. Your experience will be more of an attunement to the mysteries and energies of the universe. As a wise promise to this call, the Eye suggests the power of incantation, the chant, the blessing, and the prayer. The focusing on and mastering of what one thing is already known to thee. And that is the last one of these. So there's all our babies. Okay, so. Perfect, I love it. How do you know the difference? Carrie, can you explain that just a little bit? What do you mean, how do you know the difference? And then while I'm waiting for that, let's see what Kathy says. How do you cast them? Do you just toss them and see what lands up? Or like Scrabble letters in a bag? Or how you draw them up? So that's going to be our next thing. So let's go ahead, and while I'm waiting for Carrie, I'm going to put them in my little... And real quick, before we do that, I just want to show you how pretty these ones are real quick. And I'm sorry if you hear the boys in the background. They're playing video games, and they're they're in two different rooms but playing with each other. It's kind of funny. So look at these. They're so shiny. There's our Eye. Let me show you the Harvest one, because it looks completely different than the other one. But they're very shiny, and they got like this really pretty blue in it too, the specks. But they're actually beautiful. And they're resin, and they're totally useful, and they work just as much. So you just gotta make your connection to them. Okay, I'll put those ones in here. So you can use a metal bowl if you choose, and a wooden bowl if you choose, or you can also use a cloth bag. So you can, Kathy, and I'll do this like this. If they don't run away from me, of course. Because because I'll show you 2 different ways you can do it. Actually, there's so many different ways you can do it. So if you want to do it in the bag, you take the bag, okay? Make sure you cleanse them. That's the biggest thing we always do for everything. You cleanse the crap out of them. Cleanse the outside of the bag, and then make sure the inside of the bag gets some, and let it sit inside for like a few seconds. Okay. So you can pull them from the bag. Don't mind my slices on my hands from the cats. Okay. So we got the waves. Okay. So if I was pulling 1 rune a day, this is how I can pull it. Or I can sit there and be like, okay, so if I'm pulling for Kathy, I'm going to pull 2 for you, Kathy, just to show you. 1. And I'll bring them closer after I pull the runes. And 2. Okay, so Kathy, funny thing, I pulled the waves and I pulled the moon. How fitting for you, isn't it? Okay, so we already know that the waves represent ocean or the land of the dead, which is really funny considering you deal with Hecate all the time. Deal with healing and emotions and water. Okay, so if you look at this, you have some healing that you need to do or you have been doing. Change is in your way if you're looking at a career. You're trying to create something within yourself, or if you're looking at a spiritual side, you've been connecting hardcore more with Hecate, or I'm going to say this, I think Hecate is trying to get a hold of you for some reason. And the reason why I say that is because of the moon. Since you got the moon second, the reason why I say this is because the moon is very hardcore when it comes to the goddess. Remember what I said earlier? And it's intuition, and it also deals with emotions, but psychic abilities. So I definitely 100% think that someone spiritually is trying to get a hold of you, and that's because of these 2 right here. And yes, they both deal with emotions, but in this case, I'm going to pull a clarifier. So let me put these down, and I'm going to zoom in on it here so you can see them. Okay. And then I'm going to pull another just to clarify if it's emotion related or if it's spiritual goddess related. And yeah, definitely Hecate or some type of spiritual side. You have the eye. And we already said that the eye is very third eye and it's seeking and clairvoyance. Someone is watching you. All right. So yeah, So you got something going on, divine wise girl. So definitely. So you see how I did that? I pulled 3 runes out of a bag. And that is how I did Kathy's. Okay? So you can do it just like that. Or if Kathy was here, I can have Kathy pull out of the bag. All right? And pick her 3 runes. Past, present, future, even if I wanted. Or just like I just did. So you can do that. So that's one way. If I was pulling a rune a day, I can sit there. Now, I'm not concentrating hard on this one, but I'm just pulling a rune. And I have the 3 rings, okay? So I have a bonding or a family thing going on, maybe with coworkers or friends. Funny thing is today was all about just me hanging out with the family. So that actually goes hand in hand with me, which is really funny because I wasn't connecting to it. I just pulled a random rune. But it's true. Today I did not what I usually do on my days off. I just kind of chilled and hung out with the family when they all got home. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, okay? So that's one way. Or you can do this. I have them. And let's see. Who can I mess with? Let's see. I'm trying to see who's commented and see about who I want to pick. Let's go with... You know what? Let's go with Ellen. Just for fun. Kathy says, I think it's Hecate for sure. I think I'm coming up on a crossroads in my life, going through some rough stuff, and Hecate is who I've been talking to and asking to watch over me. See? And I didn't even know anything about that. And it's all in what the runes say. Okay? So, now we're going to do this for Ellen. Okay? So, I like to mix them up. Hold on. I better cleanse these real quick. Now, I don't know anything that's going on with Ellen, so everyone please keep that in mind. I really don't. And this is just us playing with the runes. And I will say these ones I have not played with as much as I have my resin because these are newer to me, but they're just as powerful, I promise you. So, thin card, Ellen. Pull the energy. Now, I'm going to take the runes. Now, you see how they are, okay? I'm only going to take the ones that are up, facing upwards. So, I will pull all of these that are not, okay? Now, you can read them however you want. You can read them left to right, or up to down, or down to up. It doesn't really matter. So, you can see that this one is a little higher. So, this is first, this is second, this is third, and this is fourth. And I like to put them in order because it helps me read them. If not, if you wanted to keep them like how they were, that's totally fine. It's however you want to do it. I have an order thing, and it helps me stay focused, okay? So, obviously, she has the third eye, okay? The evil eye, a protection of some sort, or someone is watching her even, okay? So, so let's think. Okay, let's clarify this a little bit. So, all right, maybe she has some protection, okay? Maybe, like I said, it could represent seeing the unseen or seeing the beauty of something that others don't even see. But then we're going to look at the Sith, okay? So it's a warning, all right? Or we're going to release something and clear something, all right? So protection, and then, it could be a warning. Okay, so I don't know why, but I'm going to fall with this, okay? Okay, guys, do you hear that storm? It's a clarification for me, okay? Now we're looking at the man, all right? So when we look at the man, we already said that it can deal with, being a strength, or or justice needs some, type of serving. It could be aggression. It could just be an action of something. So you have to act to something. Let's see. And then we have flight. I know, see, it's storming here too. Yeah, I love storms. And I've been itching for the storm. And then now we're looking at flight. So communication, messages from the other side. All right, you got some news coming. And it's coming at a very fast speed. Okay, so you needed protection, or you need protection for something that is warning you that it's aggressive, that's coming your way or has come your way, that you needed this type of protection, or that this warning was given to you and it came at you fast, or it's about to come at you fast. So something you need to look at is you need to warn yourself. Now, again, it does not have to have anything to do with spiritual. It can have something to do in your physical world. Someone might just be coming at you for something as simple as, what would be the easiest way? We have a tornado watch? Do we really? I didn't even know that. Oh, wait, you have a tornado watch. You're about, an hour and a half from me? So you do have something going on. Yeah, something's coming, Ellen. And I'm not saying it's an extreme bad, but whatever thing is coming towards you, I'm a little confused. I think you have a message coming. I'm going spiritual on this one. I don't know why. It's hitting me hardcore, but someone's trying to give you a message that's coming up your way. Yeah, you have a message. You have a message coming. Look for birds. No lie. Look for any type of birds. I would suggest. I'm going with. I'm going with hawks. I don't know why I'm feeling hawks on this one. I'm going with hawks. If you see a hawk in the next couple days, give it a week. But I'm gonna go, because this is a fast moving one, I'm gonna go with hawks very quickly in the next couple days. Or if you've already been seeing one, something's coming. It's coming at you aggressively. Yeah, here's your protection. So keep it, yeah. Well, dang, girl. Okay, so if you guys didn't get a chance to read this because you're driving, so accurate. She says there was a lot going on right now. Her grandma was just in the hospital and not doing well. Work stuff is crazy, and also have been trying to tap into Hades. So I think he's trying to say something. Yes. And she also says hawks are her spirit animal, and I always look at them as a sign. Wow. Didn't even know that. Didn't even know that, girl, at all. Hawks just came to me, and like I said, I kept seeing it. Yeah, yeah. No problem, Sarah Lee. No problem, Ronnie. Please, even if you have to listen, I'm totally cool with that. Rewatch all you want. I love when people. I'll rewatch myself. I promise. Yeah, but Ellen, definitely. He's something's like I said. It's spiritual. You can tell just by this and this alone. You got your beginning and your end of spiritual. I mean, for gosh sakes, this is a Sith. You know what I mean? This is the reaping. This is the death. You know, kind of like a death thing. So yeah, yeah, yeah. You working with Hades recently? All right, he's got something for you, girl. Definitely got something for you. So yes. So see, guys, this is what I'm saying. I didn't know anything that Ellen was going through in her life. I had no idea at all that she was working with Hades. And you've seen the runes that came up just by me tossing them on the cloth. So easy. You just have to make sure you connect with these, okay? And these are easy to connect with. I'm reading them just by setting them up in a line, okay? Who else? I'll do one more if you guys want, just for fun. See if I could do 3 in a row. The funny thing is it's not pouring here yet. It's just the thunder, which I'm in love with right now. Ha! All right, so who else? Who else wants one? I'll do one more. How about you, Monica? Do you want one? Just for fun. Let me know, because I won't read anyone who's really not willing. We don't want to throw that into the fire. I'll feel really bad. But yeah, there's so many different ways. Okay, I got you, Monica. You're next. Ellen says, okay, I need Witch's Rune set. Who makes these? I want to buy some, maybe 2, from someone in our group. I'll message you who made these babies, if you want. Yeah. And see if she can make you a set. I like ones that, and now my runes are obviously crystals. Remember, I have my lapis runes. Ooh, hi lightning. But I do 100% prefer ones that were made by someone, whether they're, you know, the resin ones or wood ones. I really do prefer. They're, as you can tell, they're extremely powerful. But definitely. Let me get a hold of her and see if she would be okay, and then I'll have her throw it out there for everyone if she's willing to. I don't want to throw her name out yet until I, get her permission, just to be on the safe side. You know how it is. Okay, so Monica, I'll go ahead and do you, and then if you guys are okay with everything, then we're just gonna close it out for today. So how's that sound? All right, Monica, I need your favor. I need you to concentrate, close your eyes, open it, no questions, just a general, let the universe decide what needs to be seen tonight. Okay. Stop it, Kong. Kong. Ooh, you got a lot. Okay. So, see these doubles? You can read them, or you can read them as individual, or you can read them as they are stacked. Now, I'm happy that this did this, so I can explain how this works. So when they're stacked, they can either cancel each other out by taking away, or you can read them as this trumping this card. So the rings is a bonding, right? Of, maybe marriage or family or something going on with friends. But this is a crossroads, which means you might have something going on with your family, with your friends or coworkers or anything like that, okay? So in this case, this can be an issue going on here. So we're going to keep it. I feel like we might want to keep this. Yeah, we're going to keep it. So you might have something going on with your family here, or with a friend or coworkers. with, something might be needing to be worked on when it comes to this. So you did get the Sun, which of course we talk about new beginnings with the things, solar magic or God. So remember, this is a good thing. So anytime you see this, it's a good thing. Let's see what else we get with this though. You can have bunions too. I'm thinking of like good things coming here. She's like, oh girl, you've already correct. So you do have something going on. So here's another way. So you know how I read Ellen's all in one, right? But because we have so many, I'm going to read this as different things going on in her world. And that's because of this one right here. So if I try and place these all together, it's going to be all jumble and it's not going to make any sense. Because intuitionally, which I don't even know if that's a word, but you get what I mean. I feel like Monica has a few things going on here. So we're going to read them as a few different parts. And I'll tell you what I group based off of how close they are and how far away they are. Okay? So you have something coming for you. So you got it as far as new beginnings. You got a growth coming. So you got a positive right off the rip. All right? So this is something that is headed your way because it's up top. Then we already discussed that you have an issue right here that needs solved between family, friends, or a coworker in some form. Okay? Then we know we have a harvest. Okay? So you have abundance or perhaps wealth or finances. Now, when I look at this one, though, I'm going to look at this one because it's closest, which we already know this is our woman card. Okay? So you have a motherly thing going on. So perhaps you have a financial, like, manifestation, or you're about to reap a reward that you have been doing for yourself and your family. So you are making something happen here, which might be affecting this. I feel like this might be something's going on here, but because you're doing something for yourself here, I have a feeling it might tie in here, but it's coming from this initially. So like I said, you got some growth coming in here, some abundance, some good things coming. It's coming from here, yourself, you, okay? It's a harvest. It's growing and you're working on it yourself. This is all you. This is a you right here. The woman, this is a you thing, okay? You're doing it for yourself. You're growing. Still, this part's throwing me off here, but I feel like it might have something to do. Like this might be conflicting, making this conflicted. Then, of course, you have your Sith. We already know and talked about what the Sith is, so it's a warning. But it could also, in your case, I'm thinking it's more of like a release or a clearing of something. So you're finally making a decision about what you're trying to do with yourself, maybe your life. Don't mind me talking with my hands, I always talk with my hands. Okay? That is going to upset someone, but you need to clear it. You need to let it go. Okay? You cannot hold on to it, because if not, this is going to just disappear. And you don't want that, because you have so much coming for you. You have to keep your path. This is blocking you from completing something. So whatever it is doing, you're blocking, you need to get rid of it, or you need to release it, or fix it, or clear it. Yeah. Does that make sense? Like I said, this is throwing me off because it's dead smack in the middle. Like, I mean, dead smack in the middle. But these all go hand in hand. These four right here. This, I don't know why I feel like it's tied in here in some way, but it might be. Or it could be completely separate on its own. She says, you were so dead on, I literally have chills. I know exactly what it's referencing to. Yes! All right, I love it. Okay, because that's what I was pulling with this, and it's so close together. And that's another thing. When you read something, it's always good to, it's so close. And that's how you read it, too. Like, this, it's kind of like the top of the tree. You know what I mean? And everything falls down, and here's the end. Here's the root. This is the clearing after everything. She also said that being dead smack in the center makes complete sense to me. Well, there you go. All right. I love it. I love it. But I'm glad. So I hope that clarified for you. And Ellen, I hope that clarified for you too. And Kathy, well, we already know that clarified for you too. So what do you guys think? Do you guys like witches runes? Because I'm loving it. I mean, I wish when I did rune casting, I had a little bit more people on, but that was my fault because I did do it earlier. But I would have did the same thing like we're doing tonight, where, you know, we play around with it. But I really, really wanted you to see how everything works. It's how you interpret it. So like I said, when I did Ellen's, I read it, I put them in order. I felt like I needed to put in order. It all represented each other. But Monica's had a flow to it, and you had to find the pattern. You had to analyze, you had to think. Does this run with this? Does this run with that? If things are close together, it usually does connect somehow. And then there's always, you know, there's an ending in her case. With Kathy's, I pulled 2 runes, and then I needed a clarifier. Pulled them right out of a bag. No set anything, it was just how I pulled it out and how I read it. Perfect. Oh, I love that you guys love these. Yes, definitely. Like I said, I'll get a hold of the girl that made the wood ones. I know Heather Carpenter, she did make the resin casting ones, and she's made a few of them for the girls too. But I know she's going through some stuff right now. But I'll work with these ones first until I know Heather is doing better. Ellen says, I wish I started with this instead of Norse runes because those are kind of overwhelming to her. And you're dead on. You're right, because there's so much more to them, and they're so detailed. And that's why I like working with the cards, the Viking cards, or I should say in this case, they're called the Valhalla cards, because they do help me memorize them a lot better. But these, as witches, these symbols are, you know, more common to us. We read tarot, right? We know what these mean. They're easy to understand. You can't not know what the symbol is. Like, you know this is a crossroad. You know that's a sun. You know that's a moon. You can tell that's an eye. You know that this is a masculine and feminine, right? This one, okay, so you kind of got to memorize this a little bit. Harvest. But, like, you know, ocean. You can think of, like, what do they call those in the ocean? The little, I can't remember. No, not spirals. Something, you know, the water, just tsunami or hurricane. There we go. This, you know, the inside can look like a hurricane. You know, maybe that's how you memorize it. That looks like a star, right? You can tell those are 3 rings, so you know they're rings. You know, you can tell those are birds. That's when, as kids, that's how we made our birds anyways, right? That's a Sith. And then this one is always the different one. You could use it, like I said, as a romance, or you could use it as a trinity. Anything like, yeah, exactly. What is the name of the book? Okay, the name of the book is called Witches' Runes by Susan Shepard. How to make and use your own magic runes. And what's really cool about this, I did mark a couple because I wanted to show you, but look at that. It even breaks it down to the planet for each, the sun, or I'm sorry, the sign, and the element that it all, you know, oh, it's raining now, conforms to. So that helps. And then, if you want to utilize these when it comes to spells and blessings, they even give you a bunch of those. So if I'm going to do a cleansing of home of unwanted spirits, I can use these 3 or 4 runes in my spell to help. And it tells you how to do it too. It even gives you like a little bit of steps. It's really cool. It's definitely an amazing book. Heather was amazing to get this for me. You can even do tree blessing, spell to attain your heart's desire. It's amazing. It really is. So I definitely recommend this book 100%. Please get it, guys. It's great. Let's see. Ellen says, thanks for teaching these so well and for reading too. No problem. I have a lot of fun. I love reading for people, if you guys haven't known. I love doing oracles, and I love doing runes and witches' runes. Witches' runes, a lot of people don't understand it, so they don't actually request to do runes. They don't actually request me to do runes as much. I wish they would, because as you can see, they're amazing too. They have their own power. It's very simple and very easy. Yes, definitely, Monica, get it. Definitely great. Okay, does anyone have any other questions? I feel like this live was probably one of my most favorite to do, which is really sad. because I love all my lives, but this was a lot of fun. And I'm so glad I had you guys on to help keep me checked. And I didn't just ramble about the most random things ever. But let me know. What's Valhalla cards? Ooh, let me go grab them. Hold on. So Valhalla cards, I call them Valhalla cards, but they are actually known as, they're Oracle cards, but they're the Viking Oracle. And I actually used these when I did my rune live. And these are them. And I already mixed them up, but like they have Odin, but like Anaz and Manaz, but they have the rune on it. It has the name, and then of course it has its Laguz, Berkano, Iwaz, Solido, Thagaz. So yeah, yeah, Freya's in here. Hold on, let me find her. Gabo, Anaz, Tiwaz. You can tell I love saying these. See, there's Loki. There's my man. I'm just kidding. There's my trickster and the Valkyries. There's Hel. Alright, come on, Freya. Where are you at? There's Thor. Ragnarok. Sunstone. She would watch, she'll be like right at the top. Oh, there she is. Freya! There she is. I need that deck. I have a deck with Hecate. I need a deck with Freya. Yep, these are really good ones, and they're mixed between runes, the goddesses, and different parts of the Norse realm and world. It's really cool. It's a great deck. So yeah, so I call these the Valhallas. Just because, you know, Viking Oracle is so boring to say. I like saying the Valhallas. So it's a really good book, or a really good Oracle deck to use. The book is amazing too. It's a nice, good sized book, and it breaks down everything very nicely. Gives you a little bit of sayings, a little quotes, a little chant. So yeah, it's a good book. Very good book. Okay. No problem. Glad to listen. I can sit there and go through every deck I have of cards just for fun. Maybe one day we'll go through maybe like a collection day. Like, this is my collection of something. Books, runes, tarot. I don't know. Just for fun. Kathy says, I just found a vintage deck I need to show you. I think you like. Ooh, yes, please do. Definitely. Okay, so does anyone have any questions when it comes to witches' runes, guys? Any questions at all? Please don't hesitate. If not, then I'm going to go ahead and end it for the night. Always, one thing too, always remember to thank the runes, or in this case, thank the gods for helping with this. I love these things. All right, so if no one has anything else, no problem, Ronnie. I think you're going to enjoy it too when you rewatch. Okay, so I'm headed out. I'm going to get some sleep. I have to work in the morning. Let me know if you guys have any extra questions on this, but definitely, guys, get the book. Get yourself a set. These are amazing. They're so much fun to play with and work with. I just love it. Just remember, make sure you connect with them. Don't try and use them right away. Make sure you connect. Ellen says, do you have any times you'd want to share that the runes changed your life or magical practice? Ooh. Which runes? The witches' runes or Norse runes? Because they all are completely different. I will say this, that if you would have asked me, I don't know, 12 years ago, would I ever have used, you know, witches runes or Norse runes in any of my practice? I would say, nah, I would never. I would never use something like that. Those can't tell me anything. I was wrong. Okay. Quick story short, I went to many tarot readers. I went to many rune readers, bone casters, and I apparently have a problem with people reading me. Every time someone tries to read me, it is wrong, or it's not anything that, you know, happens the way they say it's gonna happen. Not even close. So I stopped going. I started to get into my practice. I was able to regain my own spiritual self again. When I started working with runes, witches runes in this case, because you did say witches runes, when I started working with witches runes, it was actually after I worked with Norse runes. I will say that they called me out on my bullshit pretty hardcore, and they told me I needed to get my head out of my arse. And when I say it told me to get my head out of my arse, I mean it straight up told me that if I did not start figuring out what I was meant to do, then they were going to pretty much put me at a crossroads. They were going to bind me again, in a way. Does that make sense? I've had a few readings done on myself, by myself, that scared the shit out of me, if that helps a little bit. I did find out through my own runes one time that I was going to be left, and I didn't heed the warning at all. And when I say I was going to be left, I meant in my own marriage. And for 6 months, that actually came to be. Didn't believe anything. I thought they were lying. I thought it was more of a, oh, I'm going to have a family feud with maybe like my cousin and I always fight. I should have listened. It might have saved my marriage a little bit sooner. But for 6 months, I went through a trial because I did not heed the warning that was given to me. It's because of the runes. And it's because of this jerk right here. Okay? The death. This one, I love it and I hate it at the same time. But this one scared me the most. Okay? It scared me the most because it literally sent me into an emotional state of depression. And I didn't even realize that I was going to go through it until afterwards. It's kind of one of those things like, you kind of look at your runes, you're like, yeah, all right, whatever. Like, all right, yeah, sure. Emotional, okay, yeah, I don't think it means emotional. And then maybe like a little down the road, a couple weeks, that happens. And then you sit there and you're crying and bawling your eyes out going, what? Like, hold on. I feel like I've already known what was going to happen and I just didn't believe it. And then you sit back and you think, you're like, those effing runes did it again. Like, thank you for just messing everything up. Thank you for messing up my head. Thank you for not throwing it at my face to give me a better, clear, hey, warning. I've now learned to listen to the runes, to the cards. I'm telling you, when you connect with something as hardcore as you will with any type of runes or cards themselves, you will see that when they want to give you a message, they're going to give you a message. Write it down. This is my biggest thing too. Write it down because you might forget about it. It might take a week to 2 weeks before it actually takes effect or things start coming into play. If it says, hey, watch out for this, write that down. Write it in your journal, okay? When you start seeing the signs of it coming true and it says, hey, find a new direction, okay, or communicate to help your situation, start doing it. Don't just sit back and let it, you know, fall out in front of you, and then it's too late at that point. Then what? Now you're struggling to fix something that you could have fixed a month ago because you did not listen to the cards or the runes. Does that make sense? Wow, that felt like really in-depth there. I think I just gave you a lot of information that you guys probably didn't want to know about my life, but hey, I mean, the past is the past, and I'm not sorry for it. It's only made my relationship with my husband better. But when you start realizing something like that, pay attention to the runes, pay attention to the cards. But the witch's runes are what called out my marriage. I will say that. They called out my marriage and I didn't listen, and that was my fault. Believe I won't do that shit again. Ellen says, that's so cool that they led you to them. It's so clear you have such a strong connection to talent them. Aw, thanks, love. Makes me feel good. I try, and I'm one of those ones where I might not be able to work with them every day, but I at least try to work with them every week. At least pull a rune of the day, or, you know, play with them here and there. My poor husband has to deal with me pulling runes on him all the time, or cards on him. Sometimes Megan and I, well, we don't do it too much anymore, but we used to sit up in my bedroom, light candles, and we pull cards for each other just for fun. Maybe, you know, if we want to, you know, have fun, maybe we can, I don't know, see if maybe Gina can make, like a chat room or something for us, like a Zoom kind of meeting with like groups, and we can practice on each other sometime again. We did that one time. This would be a lot of fun. I mean, I love pulling runes for people, and, you know, if you need practice and stuff, I'm always available to get read. I promise you, I've learned that the reason why people can't read me is because I have this wall around me that stops people, but with the help of our group here, I've learned to take it down. So I'm not that hard to read anymore if I let it. So I promise it's not so bad. I love learning about your journey. It's a very messed up journey. I should call myself a chaos witch, because that is how my journey has been. It's been nothing but chaos and trials. And like I said, I can bring that up to the crones and see what everyone thinks. We practiced in a room with mediumship, and it was pretty amazing to get the chance to practice like that. And I'm so sad. It was so late here. It was like 11:30 when she started her live, and I felt so bad because I was already out. I was out by 9 my time, and it was 11:30 by the time she had her live. So I was like, dang it, I missed it. But yeah, we did that once for divination too. We broke all the different style of divinations, and if you wanted to work with runes, you went to one group, or if you wanted to work with tarot or oracle cards, you went to another group. It was a lot of fun. We should totally see if we could do that again. Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I really do, and I'm the same way. Like, I feel if you hear the story of how things came to be, it does make more sense. And, you know, like, I technically started doing tarot when I was 16, but I didn't even know what I was doing. I just randomly said, hey, I want this deck. I didn't know what they meant. I didn't know anything about them. I just really liked them. I was playing with them. I put them away, and I didn't touch them again until, like, I don't know, forever. And then I realized, oh, hey, these were always meant to be something of mine. Sadly, though, I like tarot, and I'm okay at it, but I'm an oracle. I'm an oracle seer through and through. I mean, just, you know, what I am. And of course, runes. I love runes. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. I think I rambled enough. I had so much fun, so guys, like so much fun. And thank you for hanging out with me and listening to my babble and looking at our pretty runes. And if you guys have any other questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Even if you're watching the replay, please ask. I love questions. If you guys have nothing else, I'm going to go ahead and end for tonight. Blessed be my sisters. I loved every minute of this, and thank you. And I'm going to go ahead and get a hold of the crones and see if maybe we can do, you know, practice groups for, you know, this, or, you know, oracle cards again if you want, or tarot cards. So yeah, I'm gonna bring that up. All right. So you guys have a great night. Be safe. And for my ladies that got a reading tonight, I hope everything works out better in your favor. Okay? So I love you all. Have a great night. Bye.